Imagine this, a floating city the size of an aircraft carrier, bigger than the Empire State Building laid flat, steaming toward the shores of Latin America, loaded with stealth fighters, missiles, and over 5,000 battle-ready sailors. That's not a scene from a Hollywood blockbuster. It's happening right now. Yesterday, October 24th, 2025, the Pentagon dropped a bombshell. The United States is deploying the USS Gerald R Ford, the world's largest and most advanced warship, to the Caribbean. But why? Is this a bold strike against drug cartels, or the spark that could ignite a bigger fire in our backyard? Stick around as we break it all down, facts, fallout, and what it means for you. First things first, meet the beast. The USS Gerald R Ford isn't just big. It's a game changer. Commissioned in 2017, this nuclear-powered giant can carry up to 75 aircraft, from F/A-18 Super Hornets that scream across the sky at Mach 1.8 to E-2 Hawkeye surveillance planes that spot threats from hundreds of miles away. It's armed to the teeth with missiles like the evolved Sea Sparrow for air defense, and its radar systems can track incoming missiles faster than you can say evasive maneuvers. We're talking a self-contained airbase that launches sorties around the clock. But here's the kicker. This isn't a solo act. The Ford's heading out with its full strike group, 5 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers like the USS Thomas Hudner and USS Ramage, plus the Ticonderoga-class cruiser USS Normandy. Add in a nuclear submarine lurking below the waves, and you've got a floating fortress packing more firepower than most countries' entire navies. This group's already en route from the Mediterranean, expected to hit Caribbean waters in the next week or so. So, what's got the U.S. Navy steaming south? It boils down to a war that's been raging in the shadows. America's fight against the deadliest drug trade on the planet. Over 100,000 Americans die every year from fentanyl, heroin, meth, you name it, fueled by cartels shipping poison across our borders. The Trump administration says enough is enough. This deployment is under U.S. Southern Command, or SOUTHCOM, to detect, monitor, and disrupt these transnational criminal organizations, or TCOs as they're calling them. It all kicked off earlier this year. Back in late August, the U.S. started ramping up naval ops in the southern Caribbean. 8 warships, F-35 jets buzzing the skies, and subs on patrol. Then, on September 3rd, President Trump announced the first airstrike on a suspected drug boat, releasing grainy video of the hit. Since then, at least 10 more strikes, taking out vessels linked to what the White House calls narco terrorists. We're talking around 40 lives lost, including some Venezuelan nationals. Just last week, 6 more went down in a single op. And now, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the Fox News vet turned top brass, announced the Ford's move as a direct escalation. Trump himself teased it in a cabinet meeting. The land is going to be next. That's code for potential strikes on cartel labs and kingpins on shore. Oh, and get this. Last week, Trump greenlit CIA covert ops inside Venezuela. The bounty on President Nicolas Maduro doubled to $50 million. Washington claims his regime's in bed with the traffickers, turning the country into a narco state that's undermining democracy and flooding the U.S. with drugs and migrants. But let's zoom out. This isn't happening in a vacuum. U.S.-Venezuela tensions have been simmering for years. Maduro's government has faced U.S. sanctions since 2017 over human rights abuses and election rigging. Last year, we saw the USS George Washington pop in for exercises, but that was routine. This is unscheduled, uninvited, and unprecedented. It's the biggest U.S. naval push into Latin America since the Cold War-era ops against Soviet influence. Critics, including UN experts and international law scholars, are sounding alarms. They say these boat strikes? Extrajudicial killings. Straight-up violations of war rules. No trials, no due process. And repurposing war on terror tactics for drug busts? That's a slippery slope. Inside the U.S., Democrats and some legal eagles are pushing back, demanding Congress sign off under the War Powers Act. But Republicans? They're all in. Congressman Rick Crawford tweeted, "President Trump is not messing around when it comes to protecting our neighborhood." Trump shrugged off the pushback. No congressional nod needed to hit narco-terrorists. Now, the reactions are exploding like fireworks. Over in Caracas, Maduro's firing back hard. He warned of a general insurrectional strike, millions of workers hitting the streets, rifles in hand, if the U.S. crosses the line. His foreign minister called it the most significant military threat in 100 years, vowing the Venezuelan armed forces won't bow to subservience. Colombia's caught in the crossfire too. Trump slapped sanctions on President Gustavo Petro yesterday, branding him a bad guy in the drug game. Bogotá fired back, offensive and baseless. On the flip side, U.S. hawks are cheering. Social media's lit up with posts praising the unpredictability of Trump's playbook, ratcheting pressure on Maduro and Petro without tipping into full invasion. One retired Navy captain online summed it up: "This is psychological warfare on steroids, but kinetic interdiction's the only way to dent the cartels." And globally, eyes are on how this ripples. Could it drag in allies like Brazil or Mexico? Or push Maduro closer to Russia and China, who are already propping up his regime with oil deals? So what happens next? The Ford's arrival could supercharge air patrols, drone surveillance, and yes, maybe those land hits Trump hinted at. It might force cartels underground or spark talks. But make no mistake, this is high-stakes chess in our hemisphere. A stronger U.S. presence could save lives back home by choking the drug flow, but it risks blowback, protests, alliances shifting, even unintended escalations. As one military analyst put it on CNN last night, the Pentagon just crossed the Rubicon. The big question: is this the hammer we need to smash the cartels, or a powder keg waiting for a match? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Trump's endgame is? If this lit a fire under you, smash that like, share with a friend who's glued to the news, and turn on notifications. We've got more breakdowns coming on Global Hotspots. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay safe. See you next time.